Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Now, it's very nearly 7 weeks since I collected my Porsche 911, and I have had many of you message me and say, where is the first drive video? Why haven't you put any 911 content out there? Well, I'm going to explain all in this video, but put it this way, my 911 ownership journey hasn't quite gone as I planned. Now, believe me, if you've wanted a 911 for as long as I have, and you do what I do for a living, then you're going to want to make videos about it as soon as possible. So the reason or the fact that I haven't done that for nearly 7 weeks, there's a good reason. And I want to try and explain that in this video. I'll probably just do lots of talking to camera. But yeah, I picked up the car from Nottingham and I drove it home, and I had the best drive home. The sun was out, the roof was down the whole way. In fact, the first weekend I had the car, I didn't actually drive it with the roof up at all. But I took it to 50 Supercars the weekend after I collected it. And on the way there, I had a low oil warning, and that made me a little bit worried. And I checked the car when I got there, and it had lost a fair bit of oil, and at cold start it blew a rather large blue cloud of smoke out the back, and that is not a good thing. Now, for those of you who don't know 911s, and in particular the 991.2 generation, so the turbocharged 991 generation, they are well known for issues with their turbos, and I knew this before I bought the car. I did a lot of research, and I made sure the car that I bought had been, one, checked by Porsche, and it had also had an inspection and full service from Porsche the week before I picked it up. So I was as sure as I could be that it was a good one. However, the car hadn't done a huge amount of mileage in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. So I spoke to Gary from the dealer I bought it from, who was amazing. And I'm going to say right now, from the get-go, he has been truly amazing. He said, mate, we'll collect the car tomorrow. Sure enough, the trailer turned up the next day, took the car back, it went back to Porsche, and they did an inspection and found out that, which this is something I had pretty much guessed myself from some Google research, is there's an oil send and return pipe to the turbos, and basically that had failed. And it was leaking oil, and what happens is at the end of a drive it tends to leak a little bit of oil into the turbos, and then at cold start, when the engine fires up, that oil burns off in the very first part of the cold start, and that's where the smoke comes from out the back of the car. And that fault was fixed under warranty, and that was fantastic. It took a week or so. I got the car delivered back home, and happy days. I drove it to the MotoGP at Silverstone. Again, had a fantastic drive up there, a fantastic drive back again. And then the next day I started the car, and unfortunately another big blue cloud of smoke out the back of the car. And I'm like, this just is not happening to me. I can't be this unlucky. So I took it for a drive just to kind of see what I could see. And also I didn't kind of get it on film, and I wanted to try and film it. So I thought, if I take it for a drive, park it up, and then the next time I start it, if that problem's come back, then basically it will present some smoke out the back, and I'll get it on film, and that would be good to kind of analyze the problem. Took it out for a drive, and during that drive there was a lot of smoke came out the back, and some lights came on, and it wasn't good at all. And the next day when I started it up, it looked like this. As you can imagine, not a happy bunny. Rang Gary up again. Amazing. He was more mortified than I was, to be honest. I said, look, not a problem, we'll come and get the car. So came and got the car, took the car back, went back to Porsche, and this time, although when they'd done the first job, they'd tested both turbos and both turbos were fine and there was no issues with them at all, it had done what was called an oil separator, and then the oil separator failure had made one of the turbos fail. So I'd actually lost a turbo. And that work has been carried out under warranty and everything is now sorted. So let me take you downstairs and tell you the next part of the story. This is why I haven't been making any 911 videos. The only bit I've got here is the Porsche cover that I bought for the car. So everything got sorted last week. The car is now fully fixed and running. Everything was sorted, and I cannot thank Gary at Keimans enough for the way that he's handled this situation. Nothing has been too much trouble. And I think for me, I've just been unlucky. So I'm sure the question you're asking then is, or thinking, is if the car's been sorted and it's all fixed, why haven't you got it back again? And the simple answer for that is, although the car is mechanically perfect now, I know in my head, and I know how I am, I'll never trust the car again. Every time I get in the car and start it, I'll be waiting for that blue smoke. Every time I'm coming into a corner and changing down, I'll be looking in my mirror and waiting for that little puff of smoke. And that's just not good for me. So I had a chat and we agreed that I would give the car back. And in a way, whoever buys that car, it's a mega buy, because the issue that 911, 991.2s suffer with has happened and has been rectified. So lucky owner to whoever buys that car, but it's not me. It's not a car that I could bond with, and I just know that. And you might be sitting there going, well, you're just being silly, Pete, but I know myself, and I know that that's not possible. So a huge thanks to Gary for just totally being on the same page. I've also got to thank Ben and the team at Apollo for being able to sort out the finance and so on. I hadn't had the car very long. I think I by the time everything kicked off, I'd owned the car for 4 weeks. I'd had it at home for just 2 weeks, and I've only really driven it properly 3 times. So it's just one of those things. I think I was very unlucky. I have to say, and this is a mega lesson to any of you buying a car, not just the kind of high-end Porsches and performance cars, you've got to go to a good dealer and you've got to make sure the car has good warranty, because these things can happen. I did all of my due diligence. I researched the car, I made sure it had been checked, it had a full service, everything was perfect with the car, and I was just unlucky. That car, I don't know whether because it had been sat around for a year or 2 without doing a huge amount of mileage, whether or not that was a thing that contributed to the failure, I don't know, and I'll never know. But if you have a good dealer that you can deal with that has that aftercare service. So with Gary and Keimans, the service I had before I bought the car was fantastic. The collection experience was brilliant. But for me, it's the true colours you see after the fact, after things like this happen. And I can't thank them highly enough for the way they've dealt with the situation. But as we stand today, I now only own 1 Porsche. First world problems, I know. The Macan is still here, but my 911 is not. And that then beggars the question, what next? And honestly, I don't know. I have a really busy few weeks ahead of me, so I'm not really at home very much to kind of sit down and have a think about what I'm going to do next. I have an idea what I'm going to do, but I need to formulate that and really get my head around it and not share it too much, because that may well change. One of the reasons that I've been, if you notice a few of the videos I put out recently, is, as you can imagine, doing what I do, my 911 had a journey planned ahead of it. I had a pickup, and then I had 2 or 3 partners that I was due to work with on video ideas and content around that car, and all of those ideas have had to be basically just put on the back burner. So a big kind of, a sorry to all of those partners that I had teed up to do cool things with. We just need to be patient, and that will hopefully come into the future of Petrol Ped later on in the year. But for now, that's it. For now, as of today, my 911 journey certainly wasn't how I planned it, and it's been so frustrating and so disappointing. I absolutely love that car, but I know what I'm like. Even if I've got just a little thing wrong with a car, it plays on my mind all the time. And for the kind of driving I do and the kind of usage for that car, that's not an everyday car, that's a drive tour car, it's a specific thing car, and I know I need to trust it, especially if you're going to take it on something like a drive tour. And I know I'd never be able to bond with it, and that is such a shame. Put in the comments if you've ever had something similar happen to you. As I said, massive thank you to everybody involved in this story so far. Big apologies from me to you lot for delaying on the content, but hopefully now you understand why there hasn't been a 911 video. I don't think I even connected a camera to the car in my ownership. I took and I haven't got that many pictures of it, if I'm honest. So yeah, it was a short-lived journey. But anyway, guys, again, hopefully more exciting Porsche stuff coming down the line. I'll tell you now, it's being replaced by a Porsche. I'm just not sure which one and which model, but we'll find out later on in the summer. But I'm not so sure if you enjoyed that is the right thing to say, but give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come, which will